Hey everyone, it's Processing Trauma Out Loud with Sher and Candace. Although today Candace is taking the day off, she's traveling, and so I'll be here just to do a solo episode with you. And as I've thought about what I want to talk about today, I feel like I have this tenderness toward you, our listeners, and that I want to speak with you from my heart about what we've been talking about over the last several weeks, which is the attachment styles and the struggle that we have when we have come through the early years of our lives experiencing some levels of difficulty or trauma, and we have developed these insecure styles of attachment, and we've talked about those in our previous episodes where we talked about the avoidant, the anxious, and the disorganized styles of attachment. We had great conversations together. We shared some stories. We talked with our good friend Lisa Schultz. And today I really want to talk about the pain that we feel when we are stuck in these insecure styles of attachment. The goal is, or I guess even before the goal, if we hadn't experienced trauma or pain in our lives, and if all of our relationships with our primary caregivers were positive, and I don't want to use the word perfect, but healthy, we would have developed a secure style of attachment. And a secure style of attachment is when we feel secure, when we relate with others and we just have a sense of, I can be who I am, I can receive them, I can interact with them. If things come up that I disagree with, I'm able to talk about that. Or if I feel hurt, I can bring that up. I can ask about it, or I can say that I have been hurt and I really need some repair. These are some of the aspects of the secure style of attachment. And when we have not experienced those good connections with our primary caregivers in childhood and we developed insecure attachment, kind of the thing that we want to be able to achieve or come closer toward is developing what is called earned secure attachment, meaning that in our lives now, as we heal and as we deal with all of these places of brokenness and shame and wounding and fear and the things that have caused us to feel very insecure in our relationships, as we deal with these wounds and as we experience healing and as we begin to experience relating with people who are able to be with us, able to help us feel a sense of containment, and we with them, not perfectly, but with a sense of, wow, I hear that you're angry right now with me. Can we talk about that? Or us saying that to them, rather than going immediately into our insecure styles of attachment where we feel a lot of anxiety and we do what we need to do to decrease that anxiety. Because to our brain, when we feel these levels of or these sensations of anxiety in our body, our brain feels like our life is being threatened, and our brain takes us into these styles of survival, which are all about managing the anxiety. So if we're avoidant, we move away from the relationship. We get distance to try to calm the anxiety that we're feeling in our body. If we're more anxious, we will move toward that person and we will try to figure out, like, what can I do? Or what do you need? Or or you need to do something, because what we're trying to do again is to soothe that anxiety that we feel in our body. And if we have disorganized attachment, we can really ebb and flow between pushing and pulling in those relationships to try to calm that anxiety. I feel so much compassion toward you, our listener, as I imagine your faces, as I imagine your bodies remembering or thinking about the times, the places, the experiences that you have had maybe today or yesterday or earlier this week, when that anxiety has arisen in you and you have turned toward these insecure styles of attachment. And as you recognize the toll that it takes on the relationships when we are in these places of pushing or pulling or moving away or trying to get closer, and the other person is sometimes confused, sometimes they get angry, sometimes their reaction is to go into their own style of attachment, which often can be the opposite of ours, so that when we try to move closer, they might step back. Or that when we step back to get some space, they might move in. And it can cause a lot of conflict. It can cause a lot of confusion. The bottom line is it just causes a lot of pain. And we can feel like, will I ever experience the love that my heart longs for? Will I ever experience the peace and the joy in my most important relationships? That might be relationships with our partner or a boss or a coworker or our children or a friendship. Will I ever be able to experience earned, secure attachment where I feel a sense of safety in my relationships? And I want to just offer words of hope, like this is so possible. The people who are most significantly in my life right now, we are talking about how we are experiencing more and more security in our relationships, and how this has become such a noticeable thing that's different from who we were before compared to who we feel like we are today, and how we're able to show up in our relationships, not with fear or anxiety or anger leading the way, but with curiosity and compassion and a desire to connect in ways that helps me grow and me feel safe, and also helps the other person grow and helps them feel safe. Because when we have safety, when we have a sense of safety in our relationships, we begin to develop those foundations of security where we can really grow in our relationships with each other. So, but I think the thing that I want to just say today is that if you are in a place where you're still feeling a lot of anxiety come up in your relationships, and you're recognizing more and more that your tendency is toward the insecure, I really want to invite you, as Candace and I have done over and over and over on the pod, is to reach out for help. And the reason why I want to really emphasize this again today is because the truth is we live in a society where independence is so valued, where doing it myself or figuring it out myself, like these are things that we were taught from the time we were pretty young, most of us, to figure out how to do life on our own. And I am just here to tell you that I think that there are so many areas where we cannot do it on our own. And I've been thinking a lot about just some of the mythological stories and how there often is a figure that shows up in these stories that comes to the rescue. And It might be not be in a sweet way either. It might be in a provocative kind of a way. But where someone else comes alongside in a way that helps us take a step and then take another step and then take another step. And healing for childhood trauma requires help. It just does. And I want to put a shout out to, I know that there are some story groups that are starting. It might be this week or next week. I encourage you to go to the site of thebrokenandbeautiful.com and look for story groups, or So That and look for their story groups, or enter the realm of one-to-one coaching. This has been so important in both Candace and my life. I just met with my coach this morning, and it was amazing. Even after all of this time and all of the things that we have talked about, it's like there's still more. We did a lot of celebrating today, a lot. And there were some things that I wanted to talk about that I needed her eyes on. I needed her care around. And I'm so grateful that I have these people in my life that I can turn to, and I do turn to them more and more quickly. And I ask for help because I recognize that the love that I encounter in these spaces, often of vulnerability, is the love that I have longed for all my life. And I know that when we are in these places of insecurity, when we feel a lot of fear and anxiety, it can be the hardest time to reach out because we do feel vulnerable and we don't feel safe. But it is the exact time that we actually need somebody who can attune to us, who can listen carefully, and who can look at us and say, I see you. I'm with you. I'm hearing you, and I want to hear more. People who can see us, people who will soothe us and bring us tenderness and compassion or care, or maybe justice or anger on our behalf. Tears. My coach had tears. We shared tears together today in a few different moments of deep, deep care that she offered to me. We need to be seen. We need to be soothed. We need to experience safety. We need to come to the place where we have these foundations of security. We needed this in childhood. We needed it through our teen years. We needed it through our young adult years. And for many of us, we did not have it and we did not know how to get it for a long, long time. Wherever you are, whatever age you are, whatever stage you are in life, it's not too late. And I encourage you to reach out because help is available. I want to just say that these insecure styles of attachment have such a huge impact on our relationships, maybe the biggest impact. And these are areas where we can experience healing. We can experience growth. We can actually overcome some of the things that have been lifelong struggles. Don't ever believe the lie that you cannot change. Do not believe the lies that you are too bad, that you are not good enough or not smart enough. Do not believe the accusations that come against you that make you feel like you're not worthy or nobody wants to get close to you, or that you've been too bad and that there's no hope. There is an evil force in our world that wants us to believe to the core of our being that we cannot change, that we will not change, that we will never be able to experience the freedom that our hearts long for, and that we will not get the love that we long for. And I am here to tell you that these are lies that come to us through pain and suffering and manipulation and abuse and assault and trauma and lack of care and neglect and abandonment, sometimes very intentionally and sometimes not intentionally. But however they have come to you and however they have become more and more deeply rooted in you, a lie is a lie is a lie. And the truth is that who you are is radiant and beautiful and loving and good. And that as you look at yourself, you might even say, but those things don't seem true. They don't feel true. And I get that. I talked about on our episode last week or the week before the struggle that I had of believing that I was so bad that even my coaches could not bear my stories of how bad I was. I believed to the core of my being that the lies and the accusations that had come against me. And yet there was something in me that wanted to believe and that held on to hope and that kept taking steps and kept reaching out until I found those who could stand and those who could contain and those who kept inviting me to come forward and share my stories. And these people are here for you too. So, dear listeners, don't give up on believing that the deepest longings of your heart can come true. That the love that you long for can actually be yours. That the freedom from struggles that you hope for can be experienced. It can. It's available. I know because I am one who has walked through many deep waters. Candace, too, as you know. We've shared a lot about our journeys on the podcast. Not everything, but we've shared a lot. Enough for you to know that we have walked through a lot and we continue to walk through a lot. We're still human. We're still experiencing struggles and difficulties and relationship challenges in our lives today. And we know the truth more and more and more. And we're standing in that and we're experiencing goodness that, we kind of jokingly have said that we want for the whole world. And we especially want for you, our listeners. We know that many of you have been with us from the beginning, almost 4 years now that we have been putting the podcast out here. And thank you. We really want to thank you. And we invite you to reach out to us at CandaceSher@gmail.com if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have a topic that you would like us to address. If you would like to talk with us about starting a coaching relationship, if you need direction as far as where you can connect with a story group that might be starting, reach out to us and let us get to know you. It would be our joy. Great to be with you today. And yeah, I just want you to know I love you so much.